Feel free to ask your questions in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay after, you can still feel free to submit your questions. We'll just get to them in the next live session. I wanted to kind of open talking about goal setting. And when we talk about goal setting, there's kind of two different aspects of it. Most people come in and see us with what we call outcome goals. So either I want to lose a certain amount of pounds. I want to be able to walk or run a certain distance for a race coming up. Sometimes they have a timeline on when it needs to happen. Sometimes they don't. It's just kind of I wanted to be able to do this. Which are good. Those are things that kind of get us going and give us essentially a purpose as to what we're trying to accomplish with our training. But it's important to also consider what we call process goals. So an outcome goal, again, focuses on what am I going to accomplish? What is the outcome of my work? Whereas the process really gets into the nitty gritty of what are we going to do? What are we going to put into action to actually accomplish the outcome? So for example, someone who wants to lose a certain amount of pounds, we have to look at both aspects as far as their exercise, how are we going to go about putting that into your lifestyle, and then nutrition. What are we going to look at nutritionally to set you up for better success in accomplishing that weight loss goal? The process is important because if you're not, I'm sure you hear it all the time, the trust the process and things of that nature, but it's important that the process has a purpose. So the outcome it gives us our purpose. The process, it lays essentially the map on how we're going to get to that end goal. And this becomes important for a couple things. One, with some of our outcome goals, it can be difficult to truly assess progress at times. Whereas with process goals, you're either doing it and fulfilling the process or you're not. And it becomes very easy to measure that success. Whereas in aspects of outcome goals, sometimes in aspects of weight loss, we run into issues where there's more going on physiologically to where there's other components that we have to address to see the weight loss happen, even though the processes are in place. But the challenge is we don't know if that there's other physiological barriers to weight loss until you're doing the process, as far as exercising regularly and then eating right for your body and your calorie allowance based upon your body and your daily activity output. We don't know if there is something else going on physiologically that's blocking weight loss from being successful until you're following the process. So it's very difficult to say, I can't lose weight because of my metabolism is slow. Well, until we really are following the process of exercising and moving regularly, and then eating the appropriate amount of calories for your body type and size and weight loss goal, we don't know if that's the case or not. So we've got to do the processes to really see what other boundaries or barriers are in the way so we can address those. Another aspect and challenge with only focusing on outcome goals is sometimes you're not in charge of that outcome. An example for like running and things like that, you can do all the training, you can get your times and pace set to where you should be able to meet that goal, but environment and weather and other circumstances can change and vary when it comes to race day, and that can impact performance. Who else is on the field with you can impact performance. So it's still important to look at your process goals and look at those to truly measure your success, because those are easy. You're either following the plan or you're not. Whereas in a lot of aspects of the outcome goal that we're trying to achieve, you're not always in charge of that. One of the easiest things is in aspects of winning championships for teams. You may do all the practices, master all the plays, But at the end of the season, another team may still be better than you. So you won't achieve that outcome goal, even though you did fulfill all the processes. So that's something important to kind of keep in mind and consider. Because weight loss, especially for a lot of people, there can be some challenges along the way, and not just as far as like the life challenges. Some people have different physiological factors that minimize how much weight loss we can see. But we don't know that those are there until you're doing the process to allow weight loss to occur. And if you are following the processes as far as achieving your exercise goals, achieving your nutrition goals, and we're still not seeing weight loss, then we know, okay, it's going to be one of these other areas that we have to look at to help you see that success. But we don't know that it's that until you're following the process, then the plan, as it were, to achieve that goal. So, and one of the other factors there, I posted earlier today on the page, having the plan versus the goal is the difference maker on being able to successfully implement and comply with that goal long term. You can say, I want to, exercise more, I want to lose weight, I want to eat better, but if you don't create a plan on how you're going to accomplish that, it's going to be difficult to make it happen. And that's kind of where we come in helping people build that plan, set realistic goals along the way to successfully implement, to ultimately achieve those greater goals of either seeing weight loss or just being more physically fit so you can move better and feel better, eating in a better way that your body feels better and more nourished. Those are all different factors, but that are hard to put in place without a plan. So something to consider when you're setting your goals. Outcome goals are great because that gives us a purpose, but you need a process in how you're going to achieve that purpose in order to be 100% successful. You need both in order to get there. You can't just try one or the other, because without the purpose, what are we planning for? The process really, we can't decide what we're doing. But with just the purpose, the outcome goal, if there's no plan, you're going to struggle to ultimately achieve that goal. So we have to pair them together. And that's one of the things that we help a lot of clients with. I'm just identifying what we need to put in place in their lifestyle to ultimately achieve that outcome goal, that purpose that they came in for at the end. All right, I hope that's helpful. I don't see any questions at this time. If you're watching this on the replay and do have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the comments. You can always direct message us too if you don't want your question aired, completely publicly, and we can always talk with you about that separately as well. I hope everyone found this helpful. Just remember to stay persistent in your consistent pursuit of health, and have a wonderful week.